Hello everyone. So I have my Raylib 3D little game thing here. It's just some first person camera with some custom lighting, shadow mapping. Also have implemented some instancing, and I got these billboard characters. They're from my previous game. That's probably not how the character is gonna look in the end. Well, I was thinking of using some kind of 2D characters like that, but maybe not these two in specific, but we'll see. Currently this one is following me around and stuff. Let's disable the cat from following me around for now. Go back to the code here. This is something I hacked in just to test see if something follows you around. Yeah, no, it stays. Can even restart. There it is. So yeah, so we have this going on here. But what I wanna do today is, so there is this platform down here, right? What I was thinking of doing is making so that I can climb down. I can already do that. I can press E here, and then it sort of turns around automatically and climbs down and turns around again. So that's all nice. But what I would like is to put in some kind of maybe first person animation of some maybe I'll use some billboard arms that are sort of climbing on a cylinder or something. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. I can just, hello Nalovint, welcome to the stream. I can also just give a quick update on like what I'm doing, what I've done since the last stream. So last stream I was doing like, first I explained a lot of things about shadow mapping and instancing and stuff, and then I did a big code cleanup. So I continued that cleanup a bit, and I did some maybe rather interesting things. So I have my own draw mesh instant procedure here, right? This one. Hello Spolsky. Hello Divine. So I have this draw mesh instance here, and like I showed in the previous stream, this is actually copied from the Raylib source code, but I've translated it Odin and changed it to my own needs. So for example, I have the Atlas rects over here, so it's not just transforms, it's also Atlas rects. That's how in the game these two are drawn with instancing, right? But then they're drawn using one texture, so there's an atlas that says which rectangle. There's a rectangle that is fed via instancing into the shader, which rectangle to use and stuff. So what I did after last stream that I kind of forgot was that I was gonna clean up all the code. I didn't clean up the shaders on stream. I can show also the atlas, by the way, here. This is the whole atlas currently. There's just a alphabet plus the two characters there, you see. So they're drawn using one texture. So that's the only texture that is used. And I went and sort of cleaned up my shader a bit. So we have the, what's it called? Default lighting vertex shader now looks like this. I just made everything, all the matrices end with TF or transform like this. I just made it all a bit more, have some kind of rule to how to name things. So this one is not so interesting, default lighting. There's also default lighting instance, which this is the one that I actually use. Here I have my instance transform, and currently the way it does the picks a rect in the UV is because I only do it with the planes, and the planes have the UV going from 0 to 1 in both the X and Y or the U and V directions. So I use remap between 0 and 1 to my instance fed remap values here. So this is how to remap in the X direction, these two, and this is how to remap in the Y direction. I showed all that on the previous stream. But I've gone over all these ones, right? And I have sort of cleaned them up. And then we of course have the big one, which is default lighting fragment shader. And here we have like this both goes through over the maximum 4 lights. This is it's an adaptation of the example code that Raylib comes with. And then down here, of course, we have the shadow mapping stuff. It's essentially this stuff. Now, some of these things like the camera position and the lights, they used to come in, well, some of these things like the what's a good example? If we look at the atlas here, for example, the texture and this camera position, they came in via Raylib's material system, but I've actually completely removed that because I felt like if you look at material in Raylib, right, so it's like it has a shader, one of the Raylib shaders, and then it has a material map, and it is in direction that can be a texture, a color, or a value. So then what you do in Raylib is you draw mesh instance, you would feed in a mesh and a material and some transforms. Now if you look at mine, my adapted draw mesh instance, it takes a mesh, a shader, and some shader parameters, and then some transforms. So there's no material at all, because I kind of came to the conclusion that, I mean, if you think about it, a material is just some parameters to a shader, but what tends to happen is that materials become something abstract like this. There is like a shader, and then there's some material maps here, and then it has to look inside the shader also to look at these locations here to figure out where things are, and it uses some predefined shader location indexes. That's are these. So I didn't want to, I just felt like all these things sort of complicated it a bit for me. So what I do instead is I have my own shader here. This shader, there's no RL in front of this. Oh, I hate that it, why? I think I report this bug to Sublime, but they say that it doesn't happen, but it does happen. I am in game.odin. I press F12 on shader, and it shows me not mine at the top, but this, like, what is that even? Anyways, it's maybe the worst bug in Sublime. Well, they say it's not supposed to be like that, so I guess it's a bug. So here's my shader. It's just it seemed quite similar to the Raylib one, but instead of talking about these, like like here you have shader location index, all these sort of abstract things, albedo, normal roughness. I barely have any of these. So instead I just say like, okay, there's my model view projection and my view normal matrices, and then there's my position for my camera and stuff, and then there's my 4 lights, the different uniforms that can come with those, because those get exposed as 4 uniforms per light, the type, direction, position, and color of each. So I just, when I load my shader, I just do like this. I'm like, okay, this is the name I expect for it, and I bind it to this one. So this is just an enumerated uniform locations. It's just an enumerated array, right? Just uniform name maps to a shader location. It's -1 if the shader doesn't have it. And I also have a separate texture locations because, why is that? Because the textures I want to start from 0, so to have separate texture slots for each. Because in OpenGL, that's sort of what you expect. In Raylib, it starts counting from the first. So this is texture slot 0 in Raylib, and this is 1, and this is 2. But I just have a separate enum where I start with my first texture, and it has a sort of name that is relevant to my game. There's Atlas and the shadow map. That's the only 2 textures that exist right now, right? And there might not be that many more because I want to put almost the whole game in Atlas. So that's the shader. So you see, instead of this abstract thing where you have these kind of things, I have only exactly the uniforms that I use and only exactly the textures I use. But since, well, I can talk about these RL locks later. So then I feed that shader in here. So then, for example, I can, let's see here. For example, here I say, take the location of the uniform locations transform view, check if it's not none, and if it's not none, then set the matrix there to this matte view. And stuff. This is quite similar to how it looks in Raylib by default, but then I can have my own, I can add my own things here, so it's very clear. I was even toying with the idea of removing this enumerated array and just having the lock straight up, so there would be like position camera lock. Then I could just do like this. And then use that one there, because it will be set up. But yeah, I didn't do that, so I still have this enum. And then, of course, we have the shader parameters, which is currently the albedo, which is a color, the atlas, which is the atlas I showed you, and the shadow map, and then where the player currently is. And this is the transform of where the directional light, the view projection transform of directional light. That's for doing shadow map calculations, and then it's the 4 lights. So it's very specific to this game. Here we'll go. So this is sort of what, instead of this, if you look again at the material, and there's nothing wrong with Raylib, this is just what happens when you have something generic that should work for everyone. Then you get this kind of, generic thing. But instead here I have just a struct with these things, right? So then when you, for example, you have the params here, and here it runs set texture with the atlas texture name and the param atlas, and then it figures out the texture slots and sets that. And then we have stuff like, and of course all these, where it fetches a uniform location, but then the thing it sets at the uniform location is the param. And that's sort of analogous to how a material would work, but it's just some steps of indirection removed, so it all feels a bit more like, it feels a bit more like I can just add something in here that has a name that maps very closely to whatever it does in the shader. It just, it just felt good to do that. However, this was Chad saying, Nalovin says, I have spent so long in the GL bindings for so many languages. Crazy how different languages reference them. Yeah. Also, I'm not using pure GL here. I'm using the everything that starts with RG is actually RLGL. So we have RG dot. So what I've done is I've ported Raw Mesh instance from Raylib into Odin, and this is more of a low-level function than the pure Raylib stuff. So it uses a lot of the RLGL stuff, which is a thin wrapper on top of OpenGL. Nalovin says, I assume a baked light map would be another map you might need to reference, which is what Raylib is covering the basis for. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in Raylib what you would do is you would have a map here, and then there's a material map right here. And then you have the material maps for textures, sort of supposedly you count from the albedo. This is map 0, even though it's far down in this, but they count 0 from here and then upwards. I guess you could use one of these slots if it's unused. Also, max material maps is 12, and this is how many lines? 11. So you have one more extra after this that you can use for your own stuff, or just reuse this. But you see the names don't really make any sense to me. But I guess if you're making a more game where you need many textures, then you need to reuse slots, right? Like you have, like sometimes maybe you don't have that slot set, but you have this other slot set. But I don't think any game needs more than 12 textures for one draw call. But yeah. So, let me just show the final thing here, which I said I'll come back to, the RL locks. So one problem here, this is sort of my way that the reason this sort of works also, because draw meshed instance, like I said, it uses my own shader parameters. It doesn't care about anything of the material or shaders in Raylib. However, I like using Raylib's 2D stuff just to draw UI on top, and you can't get away from the sort of Raylib shader, some of the Raylib shader stuff, if you want to use that. So what you can do, so for example, for example, maybe you want to draw, I can show you here. I have this is my first person view here, and then I can comment out this. I had prepared some stuff here where I have two arms. These are the arms I'm gonna use, right? And these I currently just draw with Raylib 2D on top. I draw it after the end mode 3D. I just draw them here. And this is just hacked in. This is nothing particularly good that I want to keep like that. But here I can still use that. And the reason I still can use that is that I use my own... I have, like... Well, actually, no. Never mind what I said. These things still use the built-in default shaders and stuff in Raylib. This I don't need to care about. This will work. But if I want to draw something in the world that uses, for example, for example, in RLGL you have vertex 3F. This is sort of immediate mode style OpenGL stuff. So if you want to draw like a box using these, which I do, we go to draw skybox. So my skybox currently says begin skybox shader, and that's one of my own shaders, right? Then I want this stuff to work, but these expect a Raylib material to be set up so that it has all the matrices and stuff. Because if you look inside sort of, if you look inside end mode 3D in the C source code, you will have stuff like draw render batch active, and this thing will sort of assume that certain things are set up in a way that respects the Raylib stuff, which makes sense. So the way I worked around it was this, because so I wanted to have my own begin shader mode, because I don't use even the begin shader mode in Raylib, right? Uses the Raylib shader. I don't have that anymore. I used to have my own one, which is not compatible. So I made my own begin shader mode, and it just runs rg.setShader. Now rg.setShader expects just the OpenGL shader ID that I have, plus the locations, and these are shader location. These are something, it's just an array that fills out these things, so that it can know sort of, like for example, what it would need in here is the model, where is the model view projection in the shader? What uniform location does it have? Right. So like what's like how does it find these things? And that's what I map up in load shader. I map it all up here. So what I did is this thing down here. I keep in my shader an RLLox32 here, because that is the number of maximum shader location, even though the enum is only goes up to like 26 or something. The shader location index, this one. Oh. This one only goes up to maybe 26, yeah. But it's defined in Raylib, so it can support up to 32. So you have a few outside of it that you can use for your own stuff. So what I've done here is at the bottom here, I populate it with, these are hard-coded, the vertex positions, blah, blah, blah. That's the same as in Raylib. And also I have that hard-coded in my shader. So you have the layout specifier here, layout 1, 2, blah, blah, blah. But these are just the vertex attributes. But they come like this. So you have 0, 2, 3, where is 4? 0, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. I don't know. I'll look at it later. Maybe it's where? Wait, now I'm interested. I'll look at that in a bit. But anyway, so it maps these up, and then when I run begin shader mode, it just feeds it the RL logs. So that then it has a way to use my own shader, but map up the Raylib stuff. So we can go like, oh yeah, I found all my uniforms. I need to be able to draw 3D stuff, even though a real Raylib stuff with a real Raylib material isn't even used, and stuff. So that's all good. Now I'm just curious, what is, I'm just gonna look at this load shader. These, what is 4? How do I find these? Is it an R model? It's like VBO ID 0 tangents, it says. So these map up in the same way. 0 is position, 1 is text chord 1, 2, 3 is color, 4 is I said tangent is 5, so that's wrong then. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. What's 5? Text chords 2, 5. Oh, that's right, because 6 is not. Yeah, I was just wrong there. Good catch. Because I have these default bound so that 6 is where my instance transform starts, and 10 is where my UV remap thing is. And here's another thing, because usually what you would need to do is, usually in GL what you would need to do is fetch the attribute location so that you can put things in at that attribute location, right? But what I do is I'm making both all the code and the shader, so I can just hard code the layout like this, right? So if it's a position, I'm always going to put this before it. If it's the instance transform array, I'm always going to put this before it. So if we go back to here, then you go like, then I have a thing called shader attribute location here. And if you look at this, it's like this was 0, so that's that one. Text chord is that one. 2 is normal, it's that one. 6 is instance transform, it's this one, but that comes as 4. That's a matrix, so it comes as, we can OpenGL can only put in 4, a vector 4 at one go. So it's this one and this one and this one and this one, and then it's one vector with the UV remap. So these match exactly like here. So I never even call get attribute location. Like I call get location uniform because those are a bit more unpredictable sort of addresses they end up in the shader. So these don't have a location specifier in front of them. Like these. They get fetched. They get fetched here. And here you can see sort of how I fetch all the different variations. I even fetch in all the lights manually. It doesn't matter, I just have to write this once. But that's a funny thing, right? Because there's usually lots of code to sort of fetch the attribute location. If we look in draw mesh instance in Raylib, then it's sort of well, I don't have a good example in this one. But anyways, what you would usually have to do is go via the shader location index, fetch these ones to get, for example, the vertex normals, and check in the shader locations, and then at that slot there will be a attribute location that is fetched to from the shader. But since I have hard coded them like this, they're always at a certain slot. So I can just make an enum in the Odin code instead. So it's just, I'm just saying all these things because I find it interesting that you can simplify the connection between the Odin or C or C++ code that interfaces with OpenGL over to the shader side if you are like doing solo development stuff and making most of it yourself. Then you can sort of like, oh, but my shader is just going to look like this. I can hard code slightly more things and use slightly more stuff like this and the attribute locations. Because it's just I think even when people are making games themselves, they end up like, oh, now I need a material system, and then they start building this abstract thing where they have like lots of levels of indirection with lots of enum, and it's very configurable, so it looks like they can make any video game. But it's much more fun to do it like this, when I can just add things in the shader and just poke around a bit, tiny bit in here, and everything is working nicely. Yeah, Nalovint, you're talking about, you said it's a pity that the matrix model reference is only covered in shader location attrib. Yeah, so if we look at the Raylib, what's it called? Instance rendering. If we look at this stuff, right? This one doesn't work in the browser, but you can go here. So if you look at this stuff, this is the Raylib C code. What they do when they set everything up is that they say shader lock matrix model is get, and this is what I talk about, get location, and this is get shader location attrib. This gets the in parameter location in the shader. And then it says instance transform. This is what I have is hard coded like this instead. It's always at position 6. I can make an enum instead. I don't have to even fetch this. I can just say 6. It's there. It's that's in the shader. And another funny thing they do here is that they since the model, since there is no model matrix in the case of instancing, because you're not getting one matrix per model, you're getting a whole list of them. So they reuse that slot in the shader locations stuff here. But they actually put a shader location attribute there instead of a uniform location like up here. Because this gets a uniform location. This gets an attribute location, which is sort of these in things, right? And then when you go down here, they use draw mesh instance, right? And then if you look in draw mesh instance, it is, because this one expects instance transforms, right? This one expects you to use the shader lock matrix model for feeding in the instance transforms. So it expects them to be there, and it actually gets the location on that slot and then loops 4 times, because like I said, like, if we look at this stuff, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, because it's at slot 6, 7, 8, and 9. Because you can only have maximum, like, a vector 4 per slot, so it actually feeds them in as 4 separate vector 4s here in the C code. And this is sort of what I mean also by, you're just setting an attribute location on a random thing and hopes that Raylib, and then Raylib will use that one in this specific case where you use draw mesh instanced. While in my, I'm just saying this to kind of, if you use these things, you can just take draw mesh instance, copy it, and make your own adapted version that makes less is less like a magical thing where the stars have to align, right? So in my draw mesh instance, I go down here, and it's not hard, by the way, to translate C to Odin. I copied it in and just went over it by hand and fixed some stuff. But then after that, I have changed it a lot. So here is my instant transformation matrix setup. I just fetch the instance transform 0 plus this loop, because I still need to do 4 of them, and then I enable some vertex attribute, blah 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 blah, and then I feed it in. But the thing is here, I don't use any model matrix uniform location in a shader. I use this enum directly. I mean, prettier than doing this would probably even be to kind of just have a proc that feeds one vector 4 at a time, and then just call it 4 times. But this is just because I copied the Raylib stuff and adapted it. But you see how it's less. Well, now that I have this proc in my code, everything feels more grounded. Like I can just change stuff in the shader and understand what the draw mesh instance is doing, and I can sort of have more fun with it. Nalovin says, I hear that OpenGL is being phased out. Do you think we'll have Vulkan bindings? Yeah, like you say, Odin already has a Vulkan bindings. You can just use a Vulkan. It's in the vendor Vulkan. You can just use that. It's just, I think if you try to learn graphics programming, start with GL because it's much easier. And this is RLGL, but would be quite easy to step it down, remove that abstraction also. I'm not very good at graphics programming, so I get a bit overwhelmed by Vulkan. But we'll see, all this stuff. Maybe I made a huge mistake. Maybe I will run out of attribute locations and uniform names and texture names and be very sad. I don't think so, because, the game is sort of minimalistic, where I have one atlas with everything in it, and the uniforms will be fine. Maybe the only thing I'm slightly worried about is maybe these hard-coded shader attribute locations. But we'll see. Another thing that's nice about this is with the Raylib examples you have, you will end up in a situation where if you draw 2 different meshes and the attribute locations vary, then it will mess up the shader because they use the same vertex array object. You might have noticed this if you ever try to draw with 2 different shaders and you use the same VAO, the vertex array object. You can see it sort of in draw mesh instance, it's the C code again. You can see it enable it here. And this one has sort of the vertex positions mapped up, but it's also the thing that up here, Raylib maps the instance buffer into, and then it just picks it at the slot where this says in the shader. So if one shader has it a bit earlier than another, like for example, what happened to me was that in one shader I didn't have I was doing the instance stuff like this, right? So I had my instance thing here, and then I had my shadow caster thing also instanced. So I didn't have these layout things then, right? So it was like this. And then it first went and drew the shadows with this one. So you see it has a position, text chord, and then it had resolved where is the transform. So this is at layout location 0, 1, 2, right? So then it just wrote a transform into location 2, because this shader obviously doesn't have anything at 2. So it's 0, 1, 2. In this case over here we have 0, 1, 2, 3. So in this one case the instance transforms is at 3, but the 2 is the normal. So what happened is that when I draw with this one, it took the same vertex array object, and this is just how it's set up in Raylib, and it just smashed the sort of location of the instance transforms where the vertex thing was supposed to be. So when it later tried to draw using this one, it no longer knew where the normals even were. I even saw this in render doc, because it looked like the first row of my instance transforms when I was drawing with this one was the same as my normals. I was like, what the hell is going on? That's vertex array objects. I don't like it. So I just hard-coded them like this instead. I just put up an enum, and so far so good. Problem solved. We'll see. It's not a huge, I mean, it's a tiny little toy still, so maybe I would regret it, but I can't really think of why I would regret it. Okay, so that's enough talking. I haven't done anything yet except talk about 3D stuff. So what I want to do here today is make it possible to climb down from here to this platform. And like I said, I can already do that. I can press E here, and there's a bit of a there's a bit of a spinny thing going on there also. Maybe we'll look at that also, but that's interesting to me. That's probably me. I should use some other funny math to do that. And maybe it's because I think I know what it is. If I spin up, I turn myself up a lot. Yep. Oh, I figured it out already. So it's because the right on the player right, I just have a yaw and a pitch. Now it was like, oh, you know, it doesn't matter if this one spills over and goes another lap. It still will be the same thing. But my code that does this thing, so I can spin myself up, it tries to find the minimum, tries to find, like, lerp it or something. So we can fix that first. I wonder what the good fix for this is. I think maybe I have programmed this like a silly person, but we'll see. Where is the... I'm already getting lost in my own code. So here is the yaw. And I guess I could clamp this somehow. But I guess I could also do like this. Clamp, start yaw between mine. No, you can't use... How do you... I'm too dumb to figure this out right now. How do you fix that? I guess you should fix it here. If the yaw is... Oh, this is also in turns right now. I'm not using radians here, it's in turns. So... I guess my turn is going from 0 to 1. So 0 is looking straight forward, and then it can look all the way around. It shouldn't... Let me try something here. If p.yaw is bigger than 1, then p.yaw is... So that's... p.yaw is now bigger than 1. So let me just say p minus equals 1. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna run out of the enums for the drawing. No, I think it's I think it'll be fine. Did that actually work? Whoa. So if I spin myself up a lot now, yep, that worked. There is a bug here, of course, if your yaw is more than 2, for example. So what you probably should do here is minus equals math.floor, maybe. P.yaw, so if it's 2.2, then it will be, yes, then it'll be 0.2, because that's the correct one. Because that you can use, you can use degrees, radians, or turns. In turns, the unit circle goes from 0 to 1, and you just multiply by tau or 2 pi to get your value. And then in this case, you add 1, which sounds a bit weird. Is this like that, maybe? Seems to work. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if that's the correct solution, but it's the solution I'm doing. Okay. So what I want here is some kind of rope-looking thing. And then I have my arms, very important. I'm going to re-enable my arms, because it looks so stupid. It's currently some kind of cat paws. It looks like I'm going to go box. So but I was thinking that these should hold sort of a cylinder and sort of climb down it or something. And I'm going to do a stupid animation in code that tries to do that stuff. However, Nallovin says the pause menu is a pause menu. Excellent. My last game was full of puns, and I think it's going to happen again. So the one problem here right now is that these are in, you see, it's like this. It doesn't, I need a UI scale. I need to place them smartly. And I need to have some kind of anchor positions, maybe down here somewhere where they can sort of be connected, right? So I have to calculate stuff like that, because currently I should draw with a 2D camera here, really. That zooms everything up correctly. Let's try just hammering to. Do I need to have like a UI camera? No, okay. But also I realized that I probably can't do this in 2D because I need these to sort of be. I might need them to sort of move like behind things, like and do stuff in the world. So maybe I need to draw them as sort of 3D objects, but just in front of the player or something. Yeah, I'm not going to spend all that energy on animating them in 2D only to be like, okay, now I need to redo it. So let's just change this so that they're actually sort of in 3D. How do we do that? I don't know what first-person games usually do, if they like have a separate do you just draw something straight in front of the camera? Like you just position the thing in front of the camera? Because usually I think sometimes the near plane is so close. So like you can think of these first person shooter games. I think maybe they use a slightly separate. Null set at 3D camera but orthographic. Yeah, maybe I could do that. I was thinking that maybe it's fun if they sort of can angle down and sort of, but maybe they should be orthographic. Okay, say that we have a 3D camera. Let's try to do that. So here's a 3D camera. Let me just take that one and be like F, what's it called, like F. It's like hands camera. Camera. And the position of this camera, maybe everything should be the same. Maybe I try that. What happens if I do an orthographic projection? And then we say rl.begin mode 3D. La la la. And then we say rl.end mode 3D. Well, this needs a camera, of course. And then can I say because I can draw a billboard, I know. Is that what I want to do? Draw a billboard in front of the camera? Maybe. Let's try it. Oh, draw billboard is fun. It takes the camera. What does this thing do? Draw billboard rec. Oh yeah, it uses the camera because it needs to know some things about the what is up on the camera and stuff, I think. Let's try that. Texture 2D. Oh yeah, we need to be like draw billboard pro. Because we need a gmem.atlas and then we need a source rectangle. I have prepared that for you. Let's just move this in here. That's the arm rect, and this rect comes out of my atlas texture.arm rect. So this is in atlas.odin. This is generated by my atlas generator program, and it knows where the cat is. This is fed into this is used for the instance drawing using these two textures, and this is the info of where in the atlas is the arm texture. So this is generated as part of the atlas generation. It generates an Odin file that I can use, so I can reason about these things sort of compile time. Okay. Position. Well, I don't know. Player IPOS plus. Let's do like camera position plus camera to target, whatever. We're just trying some stuff here. The up vector is, let's define that. And then it wants the size. Okay. What's the size? I guess this is the billboard. Let's just say 1 by 1. I just want to see if I can get something on the screen. The origin is nothing. Hello, Andre. Thank you for the good wishes. Right. Oh, hands camera. Let's see what this does. If we compile that. Yeah, this is not used anymore because it was we can remove it. It's not important. Oh. Yeah, this one of course won't do anything anymore because we're in 3D rendering mode. Oh, so we're there. What the fuck, wait. We do like 30. I'm just gonna try something here. Oh, it's happening. That's so weird. What's going on? Oh, I understand. It's drawing a billboard. Yeah, that's not gonna work. I don't think it should draw a billboard. Why? Draw. I just do like this. Can I just draw it? Let's go here. So I draw the NPCs already with the instance drawing like this. Right. Really, what's stopping me from doing this? Okay, that this is NPCs is nonsense. This is a one. This code only work. This code currently only works for sort of square things. Well, my rendering stuff is not up to. Super good yet, because if I just draw a texture in 3D mode, what the hell even happens then? Now I'm interested. What would this do? I didn't expect this to work. Because I need to draw something in front of me. Do I really have to do like a 3D model with it on? I mean, I can figure it out if I just had some more rendering code. Because like I said, currently this code here only draws sort of square things. And I would like it to sort of draw. I'm planning on doing that for like drawing the world, to have like boxes that are like shaped any old how, and you put Atlas textures on them, and then you also tell it and then you just tell it the size of the box, and then it can figure out the scaling of the texture UVs from that and sort of do it nicely. And that combined with Atlas, I think, could be quite nice. Syrian Paul asks, why Raylib over SDL for game dev? I think for 2D games, there's just SDL is kind of bare bones. There's less things in there. There's more utility stuff in Raylib. it's easier to get going. For 3D, I would say the difference is less interesting because I think you have to do more custom things for 3D. So I would say it's, but there's, I mean, it. The other day I was like raycast. Like I was able to like find some raycast stuff. That's how it knows. Oh, there's a stupid poem in the way, but there's a, this turns green and you can press it. And there was like a little raycast thing that existed in Raylib that I used that worked fine. But back to this problem. The problem is not that this is hard, it's just that my rendering stuff is perhaps not the best. I mean, I could do something like this. I can take a cross product between the hand's camera dot position and the hand's camera dot target. And if I do that, whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, that's interesting. I thought that would give me an up vector. Wait, do I have to do this maybe? No, that doesn't matter. I was thinking I could get a better up vector for this thing, but this just goes crazy. I don't think this is a good solution. I think I just should draw a mesh that's in front of the player. Well, and here I come a bit to the problem with my current setup, that I haven't ported over the draw mesh. So I don't have a material. But maybe we can use a default material. No. What does draw mesh do? A lot of things. Because if I just drew a mesh that's sort of that, yeah, I could get that to work. Now, maybe it's nicer. This is not me trying to do like a cop out from this. I will add a draw mesh so I can use my own shader stuff with it. But that's not, I don't want to do that right now. But I was thinking maybe it's nicer if it is in 2D. Yes, I can't go behind the thing, but it just will look. Yeah, I think I'm going to start like that actually. Because I was thinking of other 2D, 3D games like Post Void that has sort of a gun. And I think in that game, I think it is drawn like that. So we'll just do that. Let's just do that. So we'll have a camera 2D. And the reason we will have a camera 2D is we want need some scaling. Camera. So this one has an offset, a rotation, a target, and a zoom. I think the only thing we need to set is the zoom. Oi, I deleted too much. Begin mode 2D. and mode 2D. Yeah, zoom. Let's put the zoom at 30. I just want to see if I can remove these guys to start with. No, because that's of course not gonna work. Okay, zoom is rl.get screen height divided by maybe 180 or something fun like that. This is just because you need to scale up the pixel art in some way. Let me then say that this thing is at the top. Right, maybe say 100. There it is. So I sort of need to decide on a size of pixels in the first person camera, right? Currently do I even need a camera for this actually? I can just yeah, I should use a camera for it. So you could just also scale the arms up, but I've realized that usually using cameras for scaling things up is better. But perhaps so if you have 180, then 320, 180, it should be like, and then it's over in the corner, sort of. And then, so what happens here, if you take your screen height and you divide by 180 to get the zoom, right? Then the bottom of your screen will be at pixel 180, because I'm sort of mapping it like this. So what I can do here then is I'm gonna steal a procedure from my cat game called camera rect. Close that one. This one takes a 2D camera and then it makes a rectangle. Do I have screen size in here? It's quite good to have. This one returns rl.get screen width and then rl.get screen height. Don't I have that one? Huh. Interesting. I thought that was part of the Let me check something here. Is it not in here? Nope. Okay. Close that. Go in here. I was looking for some different projects to see if oh, this is the wrong project. There's another one. This one. Yeah, here I have lots of more nice stuff. I should move that to the template. Let me do that. Game template, rect, So I based this first person thing off my hot reload template, but it seems like I hadn't brought in some things from another game I worked on. Yeah, we can bring in math here, that's good. Import core, math, and then we have camera rect, and that will give us a rectangle in sort of zoomed like the camera. So in this case, it will go from 0 to 180 and then vary a bit how big it is in width because I'm zooming based on the height, right? So if I then do like camera rect and we feed it the hands camera, and then if we say camera rect dot width and camera rect dot height, now it will be in the bottom left corner. You see, that's exactly what I was expecting. However, I don't think we want 180 pixels on the, maybe we want like 90 pixels on the height. It grew a bit. Either my art should be more high res for the sort of first person HUD stuff. I haven't decided on a size of it yet really, but this is sort of what I was going for. So we just say that it's 45 pixels high. You only have 45 pixels for the, I mean, maybe that's the correct thing because it's so close that yeah, we'll see. Now we can take the width times like that, and then we can push it down maybe 2 pixels like that, maybe a bit more. Yeah, and then we can take this code, copy it here for the other arm, and then we say 1/4 in instead, and we flip the rotation like that. It's 2 arms. And now they sort of don't use this hard to reason about coordinates that was there before. Now it's something that I can sort of wrap my head around, as you could see that I could just put them there quickly. Now I think this coordinate here I will save somewhere and have it like I probably want sort of like almost like an inverse, not an inverse kinematics, but the arm is always somewhere down here, and then there's a point it can try to reach for, right? And then it just calculates the direction that is. So then I can say like, take out screen point and sort of, oh, you move your arms like this or something silly like that. Let's try that. What's this called? Here's my player. Just put it in here. Name it. And the is in reach for right arm focus or something. I don't know. And this is in world coordinates. Let's just start with the right arm. And what we will do is do something stupid like this. just to test it. Just to test it, we will or maybe I want it to be in screen position. Maybe that's easier, because then I can just take a position in the world and say, what's this position on the screen? Otherwise, yeah. Let's do that. Right arm focus is a vec2. Hello, Glenn. And then p dot right arm focus is rl dot this is a bit silly, screen to world 2D, because you take the mouse position, right? And I have, it's not really a world position, but I have down here this camera here, right? So we can do like this. So there we have procedure to fetch that one. So even though this is not really a world camera, to get into the coordinate system of this camera, what you do, you can think of this as not being screen to world, but screen to world, in this case being just the coordinate system of a specific camera, right? So this should work. I mean, now that one is set, and then we can be like, okay, we're constantly setting where we are pointing on the screen with the mouse, and I was thinking we can just try to aim the thing after that, but later we will climb down a rope instead, and we will sort of try to do stupid hand movements while you're climbing down and hope it doesn't look too stupid. So then here, essentially here I have a vector. So this is my sort of because I show you why this one is. So I have a origin here. It says destination.width divided by 2 and destination.height. That means that the bottom of the texture here is the origin point, right? So that's why we're drawing it at this point. So then I'm just wondering, rl dot angle between, is that what I want? What does this one do? Vector angle between takes two vectors, normalizes them, and returns the arc cosine. I think of the dot product. I think that's arm root and what's it called? Player.arm right arm focus. This comes out in radians. Raylib expects like that. Let's try this stupid thing. It's just off by 90 degree, minus 90 because it's straight up. No? Huh? Okay. It looked like it was... Ah, wait, I know why. This is the position. Right. So it needs to be... Yeah, I know why. You need to be like this. 0, 1, which is the up vector. So... Wait, is it... Wait, I don't even need... No, okay, yeah. There's live confusion happening. I don't need the position for this. I need the up vector. Like this, right? So we just need the angle between that thing and that. And then minus 90. Because Raylib... What the... Why isn't it... I think I'm being stupid again. Yeah, it's somewhat working. I'm just trying to do this to see if I can get the control of it properly. It's somewhat working because the calculation is wrong. Degree per radian. So you have a point down here, and you know a screen point here. Ah, yeah. So I know I'm aiming at this point, and I want to know the angle between this. I want to know this angle. So this one goes straight up, so I need to take the vector from here to here, not just this point. Right. So it should be... Oh, I need to have you back here, sir. This one needs to be arm root equals this. You see how quickly you figure it out when you just draw a picture? I mean, I'm pretty sure that's correct. We'll see. So it's from the arm root to the right arm position. And then maybe there's no minus 90. Am I wrong? Oh, it's totally wrong. Oh, now he's trying random. Oh. I don't think this should do a... Shouldn't this be like a math of a tan 2? Because essentially I have... No, a tan 2 is for when you have 2. How do you calculate this thing? Well, you can you can cheat by doing this. That will work. Yay! Ho, 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 ho. What I did there was just, if the right arm focus, which is the screen point where I am aiming at, if that one is to the right of this one X direction, then it flips it around, because it, yeah, I will look at my math later. This is quite funny. I can actually control it. I turn, so this is with mouse cursor on, and then I can lock my mouse cursor, but I can still. So stupid. Yeah. Anyways. But that's all it needs to. Now I have a screen position that I can say, please try to have the arm aimed at this position. That's all I need, right? The left arm focus. Let's just set them both to the mouse position right now. Do the old copy pasta. Rapatars. Fell off. Ha. No, it's not gonna be a violent game. I'm just being silly. Hi. You can pet the cat. This one is always trying to be turned towards the camera, so when you go very close, it's like, ah, ah. I quite like how this shadow falls on this billboard. So what I'm gonna try to do with this is to draw characters from 4 directions. So they just, if it's looking in this direction like it is right now, it just stands like this. And if you walk over here, it just, when you pass the 45-degree line, it just snaps around to the next one, and then there's a backside to it. And then you can maybe, if you talk to it, it turns around. Then it just like, if it's totally facing, having its back towards you, it will just snap with like once and once again. I feel like I have arms now on the screen to sort of flail with when I talk. Yes, so I feel like the guy in Monkey Island, Stan. Maybe I should just have a game where I can hold the left mouse button to move the left arm, and the right mouse button to move the right arm, and then I can just press things in the world with them. Who knows? This is what I want. I want them just to climb, but not controlled by me. Right. Up, boom. Oh. This one didn't even use left arm focus, but since they were both the same value, it didn't matter. Okay. That's good. Let's make a little cylinder that is sort of like a rope. Can I, in Raylib, let's see, gen mesh. Yes, I can generate a cylinder. Amazing. Let's do that. Radius, height, slices. Slices is how many segments it sort of has. I always like everything to be one 1, 1, 1. Slices though shouldn't be 1. Is it? Let me see. Let me look at the source code of it, see what it does with the slices. Think of slices like a number of pizza slices. See how good it is to just jump to the source code? Much faster than even trying. Just look. This should be in the docs, not. Maybe it is in the header file. So 8 maybe. Maybe 8 is good. Do that. Let me just. And we loop over in the drawing code. I loop over all the climb points. What's a climb point now again? It just has a yeah, this code is not done. I'm just gonna take that code. So this one is like, it's at this position. That's the sphere that you all saw. This sphere is at this position. And the wanted facing is which direction should the character face when it is climbing. It should face down positive z-axis. So essentially my pipe should maybe be pipe, I'm saying. It's like a, it should maybe be from here. Thinking, should it stick out a bit? We'll see. Let's hack it in here for now, and then we'll see what we can do. I think I can draw this instance. I don't, like I said, I don't have a draw non-instance right now because I imported it. But so we need the whole list of transforms used to draw the instance with one mesh, but that's fine. I mean, we don't really need a dynamic list here either. We can just do like this. We just say like this. The pos is c dot position. Okay. Then we have lean all dot matrix for translate c dot pos. So we translate. We make a matrix that translates to that position because these are instance translation matrices. Like I said, we're just gonna draw this with instancing one thing, but that's because that's the only thing I have right now. It will also need to be scaled and stuff, but we'll just put this in for now here. Can auto cast it because this is in column major and it needs to be in row major, which is the format it stores the rows of the matrix in. So just add auto cast there to do that for me. Draw mesh instance, rename.cylinder mesh. We use the standard shader, we use the standard shader params. We say, take this, we slice this list of one thing. And then we need to make, this code is currently a bit stupid. It still needs the rectangles even though it doesn't use it. So we use make an empty list of one rectangle. Needs to be the same length also. What's wrong with this? Huh. Oh, there's a dot there. Bleh. You see, there's our, look, it's our cylinder. But that's exactly what I want, right? It's 1 by 1 meter. Wait, the radius is... Is that the radius or the... Gen mesh cylinder. Is this the radius? Height? Excuse me? Oh, the first one is the radius. Yeah, so probably 0.5 then if I want 1 by 1 by 1 by 1 meter. Yeah, you see. And since I use my correct shader, it even got a shadow and some stuff. Now I will just hack in some stuff to put it. I will make some custom, because currently the climb point, I don't know where it ends. I don't know where the rope ends. I just know where the climb point starts. I don't know how far down you should climb. That's hard coded right now. I'm gonna fix that. I'm just gonna play with animation first and then fix the gameplay sort of positioning of things. So how far down? Climb, yeah, it's in player state, climb down. It climbs 4 meters. So then it's quite easy. I used to do this. Draw world. This. You take this one and you add 0, -2, 0. That's your position. And then you scale it up 4 meters and make it more narrow. That's what you do. So you take a scale matrix. You scale it 4. And then you say 0.2 and 0.2. See? It's almost correct. It's almost my rope. I wonder though why it's... This looks wrong. Why is it? Can I also set shader parents dot albedo? What's a nice brown color? Is this a Raylib color? It is, but immutable. In Odin, all procedure parameters are mutable, but you can make a mutable copy just like that if you really need it. I'm not sure if I actually implement the coloring. Maybe we can look at that in the shader. But I'm just curious as to why. This thing lerps the player's position down. maybe this is all wrong. Maybe it should be like 6 meters here and it's just falling the last bit. Let's see what happens. Nope. Learn from start to end with T. Time player starts. Blah, blah, blah. Well, maybe it should be like s.point.pos minus 4 because the player is quite tall. Oi, I'm walking into the wall. It's a bit hard to tell actually. But I mean, this code is all crap anyways, but can you do something like this maybe? Like that, I think will work. It's just that it was using the player's disposition I am at rather than the... I will make all this nice later. Actually, what the problem here is that when it turns around, it needs to be like this. So it initially turns around and it says that it turns. This is the turning part, and then it also lerps the position of the player from where you started to this end position, which is now it's s.point minus point wanted facing. And then the next state, the climb down state, starts at that one. So then I don't need to do this anymore. Now I can just do like this. This is the number here that needs to get configurable by defining an end and a start of the sort of climby thingy. So now when I turn around, yeah, it's a bit far away maybe. Let's just put it half the way, because that's a normalized vector, so it put it 1 meter away from the wall. Yeah. Okay. I want to look at that again. Okay. I think it's just missing a piece here because it doesn't. I think just because the point is a bit up in the air, so it actually all makes sense. Oh well. Just make it a tiny bit longer and be happy with it. 4.5. I wonder what the reason is that it... Oh, the origin of this cylinder is not in the middle of it, it's in the top. That's why I must translate it all the way down and then scale it. I was thinking I would translate half the distance and then scale, because the origin would be in the middle of the thing, but it's not. That's why I was so confused here. Because I thought it would be like this, right? That's what happens if it's in the middle and then you scale in both directions. But now I look from the top and I scale down. Or something like that. Or maybe it's in the bottom actually. Yeah. Whatever. Let's try to look at why is... Like you see, right now I can just jump down also. But that's not the... I also can't climb up. But I can fix that later also. What I want to do maybe later is make some kind of nav mesh or walk mesh generation. So I can walk it, but I can't just walk off. That's good for making this sort of explorational games where maybe you need to have the rope and throw out the rope in order to use it. Or something like that. Otherwise you can just jump down. You can also add fall damage, but there's, yeah. Whichever works for you. Let's look at why the albedo doesn't get fed into the... I think I know why, but... Color diffuse. Albedo. Maybe I should call this one diffuse. Oh well. Ray, what's it called? Default lighting. Fragment shader. I'm gonna bet some money that it's not even hooked up. Color diffuse. What are you? Tries to find a uniform. Nope, it's not this. Well, it's not in here. I guess I just multiply it here. Who knows? I think it turned brown. There you go. It just wasn't hooked up. Can maybe remove that. Well, can maybe remove that sphere. It's not perfect, but it's like a, yeah, it looks like. Yeah, so let's animate the hands now that we have that stuff working. And we will animate the hands from inside this little silly state machine I have. Player state, climb down. Here. So I was thinking that the hands are not even out all the time, right? So you can move both the elbow position or whatever it is, so they can move out. So like when you're walking around, it's just when you do stuff, they sort of appear. So you just have two elbows also. And then we need to set the elbows. For now I will set them here. P.left elbow blah 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 is, well, yeah, I can just use a sign sort of to vibrate them, but I was thinking that I wanted to be possible to the arms shouldn't be showing at all when he's walking around. It's only when I go up here, the arms sort of come up from the bottom of the screen and do stuff, and then they go away again. That's what I was thinking. But maybe it's more fun like this. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do it more fun. We're gonna do it like this. Player. Remove the elbows again. Remove the elbows. Sounds painful. And then in the default case, when we are not doing anything like this, then we just say, let's put it here. So now you can move them freely, but when you climb, you can no longer move them because you're not in that state anymore. Right. So what we'll do then is something silly like this. So you focus on the middle of the screen. So let's get the camera rect for the hands camera. Like that. I have a point. I think I have a point in the middle of the screen. I can wiggle that point. It's not really a sign because, well, I can do something like this. CR plus vec2 1 minus 1. This is sort of a diagonal times math.sign gmem.time times 4, and this will do it once per second. Maybe that's good. And then we just arbitrarily offset the time for the other one. This one is very sad about something. Because gmem time is a F64 and mathsin is a generic procedure, so it... Now there will be crazy stuff probably. That was nothing. Wait. I'm climbing down. I take the middle of the screen. Oh. Ah, okay. For some reason I thought it compiled, but it didn't. Of course, this is cr dot. I thought it compiled, but it didn't really. Well, that was a letdown. Climb. Oj. So if I just do this, I'm just gonna check that my assumptions are correct. Are they constantly pointing at the center of screen then? Yes. Good. Then I take that. This is not the best way to do this. I would like to oh wait, maybe something like this is what I should do actually. It's sort of like a screen shake thing almost. Where you just put in a small number. Let me just put this so it happens constantly instead. Just put it after here, so it writes over those. Oh, give me this thing. Of course, this is not gonna. What's the value of this thing? Oh, I'm stupid. I thought the 10 was inside here because I wanted it to go faster. Silly, silly thing. That's my offset. What happened? I put in some random numbers here just to offset the time a bit so they don't do exactly the same motion. And then I broke. Huh? Oh. Yeah, well, I actually did remove a curly brace there. Hey, how you doing? Hello, Wes. Yes, it's Sublime Text. I made the whole other game I have on my channel that's on Steam. It's made only in Sublime. I actually have some fancy features, right? I can do like, look, I can do it didn't work. Yep. No, I have code completion is what I wanted to say. So it can actually say, here's what stuff that exists in Raylib, and then it gives me some help. So it's actually slightly more, have some extra. It's the language server protocol thingy with the Odin language server. Ho. Actually the actually the main Odin, the Odin Ginger Bill who has made Odin, he has written the whole compiler in Sublime. So it's a very Sublime language. Already more features than Visual Studio. Yeah, there's no Odin code completion in Visual Studio, so you can get Odin code completion in Visual Studio Code if you install the LSP stuff also. It's just the same thing essentially. Where was I? Let's make the amplitude a bit bigger. Make it go slightly faster. I'm just keying in some random numbers here. It's probably not gonna be exact. I just wanted to see if I could get something silly to happen. Shoo. Done. Ha 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 ha. This is the most silly thing ever. Oh, it's quite funny. Shoo. Looks like it. These probably shouldn't be of different size because it can kind of go, it can sort of get out of phase and cancel out, I think. Why is the left hand moving so much faster? Is it maybe... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I don't really care right now. It's not that important. It's not. So it would be cool if I could. What the hell is going on with these arms? My God. Oh, it was because my the mouse lock was on, so they went a bit crazy. So it'd be cool to be able to climb up again. Now, to be able to do that, I need to set both the start position and the end position, and then draw the rope between them, and then be able to reverse the process so it climbs up over the ledge and stuff. That last part with over the ledge can also be a bit tricky, maybe. So, let's see. I mean, that's the last thing I try to do tonight. I haven't been streaming that much recently. I've been doing my video, you know, the snake video. I hope to be able to make another snake video soon. Not snake, I mean just a game, just making something like Pac-Man or, you know, something simple. Maybe I'll try to use Box 2D and Raylib at the same time, who knows. But what I'm also spending a lot of time on is that I'm trying to, we'll see how it goes, but I'm trying to write a sort of book on Odin. I already have an article that's quite popular out, or you can go to my website, zelinsky.se, and scroll down a bit, and here's a big article. It's big. I try to collect all the info on the language that there's still some stuff missing in here, but I've taken this article and I've started writing we'll see what it becomes, but it might become a online book that who knows, maybe one day I could print it. But the book version of this is already bigger than this, but that one is not available on the internet. Maybe I'll take maybe I charge money for reading that one or something. We'll see. That's the idea right now, anyways. That this one would remain free, but the book version will be sort of like a, because it's gonna take like a lot of time to write. Spend at least I don't know how long. I've been writing for days and days. Some people take a year to write a book, so I don't know. But I hope I can write something quite nice in like a month or something. Because the Odin documentation, while there's lots of good documentation, it's a bit here and a bit there, and you have to look a bit in the overview and then look a bit in the demo file and then ask some questions on the Discord. And I know the answer to most of the questions on the Discord, so I can sort of combine all those things into one thing, which I hope will be this book. We'll see. Climb point, position, end position. Well, it's sort of like a, let's call it end position now, because it's a sort of like a position 1 and position 2, but whatever. So we have a climb point. That's the position, and then we just say this -4. That's the end pos. This way I will place in an editor later, so I don't. This is blah right now. It's not important. It's just testing data. Let's go back to that for this one. Let's draw both the points with a little sphere. Where does this one go? There it is. So now I want the rope to draw exactly between these two. Everything else is wrong, I think. Maybe. So we pos to end pos, because the rope is currently sort of here. Length is c dot end pos dot y minus c dot pos dot y. So the length, and then we scale it up by the length. See if that works. It's going the wrong way. From the position to the. All right. Yeah, that's correct. It should be. Oh wait. No, it's correct. See the pos. I go from pos to the end pos. That's my length. I mean, really, what I need is this. What I need is some negativity. There you go. Semsu says, wouldn't just flipping the position just do, since you're lerping between the values? It also has to sort of execute them in reverse, you know, because it has, at the end I have to stand here. And that's not any because whatever position I have when I start, I can stand over here and press, and then it will sort of lerp into the correct position, climb down, and then it's done. If I climb up again, then I need to at the end stand somewhere. So then it sort of needs to do another movement at the end that, well, I could just say that it's the position up here plus a bit of something, you know. And at the bottom here, it doesn't need to turn around because I'm looking at the thing and I'm just going to climb up. But here it needs to turn around. So it sort of needs to do the whole thing in reverse with, we'll see if I can do something smart to do that. So we have that one. Ray. Right. Let's do another ray to the end boss. So this is where I start my climby. So now if I jump down here, yeah, so now we have this one. And if I press this one, this will go crazy now. It will fly up and then climb down. That's what I expected actually. I can stand like this and it will like video games, because it just feeds in these parameters right now. Let's see if we can do something smart to not... I might have to just copy everything and do a climb up and a climb down, but I'd rather not. Maybe I can just tweak the end one a bit. Let's try that. So what we'll do here. So maybe, what the hell is C? All right. C is the climb, my struct with the climb stuff. S dot point, that's the point, position. Right, and here I also need to figure out how far I am going. You know what? This thing should not take a climb point. It should be like start. What the hell is start? Is that where the player started? Yes. So this is player start, and then it needs a point start, and then it needs a point end, and then later we will add one that says turn around at end. And then we add a little offset there that says how much to put it something. So now, if we compile, get a nice compile error. Let's fix this stuff here first. So player start is this one. Point start is c.pos, and point end is the end position. Yes, that compiles. Can take the same stuff down here, but here the start position is the end and the end is the start. We'll fix the turnaround after climbing up later. First we need to fix the compile errors up here. Oh, wanted facing. Right. Where is it? Climb start here. This is better to just copy the values in so I can flip the point start end instead of feeding in the whole climb structy thingy MacBob into there. So now we just say wanted facing there, and here we just say end pos here is a bit, this is the end, this is the turn around done pos is s.pos. That was a magically nice variable name, wasn't it? Thanks for watching, Wes. Good night. What the hell is going on? s.pos. Start pos, of course. Then we go from player start. That's the what this thing does. It lerps on the start position of the player to that position where the turnaround is done, and it sets the player's position to that. You need to cache this in the start here because it. Well, you need to have players start separately so you can lerp nicely from the beginning to the final value. Okay, I'm apparently stupid. Climb start. Point start. Okay, that's what I named it. Okay. So then we climb down from the turnaround done pos. And then we need to know how far down to climb. And that's essentially... This might not be the best way to do it. I should just... whatever. Let's just... Well, actually... You need to know if you climb up or down, right? So you just add here and you go from start. And you do start to end, like that. Hopefully now I can climb down again. And then it turns around. Nice. Nice. Nice squirrel. Now we just need to make it so you can climb back up. What happens if we do this? Then it climbs up correctly. But then it... Wait, what the fuck happened? Oh. There is a little bug here. Doodly-doo. I don't think it should accelerate me with gravity constantly. What you saw that happened there was that I fell in the blink of an instant back down because it had accumulated so much speed. It doesn't do the... But that's just because I'm actually... Oh, right. Use disable gravity while climbing. I'll do this maybe in a nicer way later. I mean, of course, the correct solution is also to... Yeah, that's a bit more what I was expecting to happen. So now we just need to change how the end works. We need to control the end behavior a bit more. And what does that mean? Well, essentially it's the end. Can I just do this instead here? End pos. Point end, it's called. I don't know. My names weren't very good apparently. This should still work. Climbs down, and then it turns around. It's a little fall there because now it can climb up, and it's this part still won't work. However, what I can do now is I will take all this and put it into here so I can pass them on to the other states because I need it at the end. I need to know at the end where is the end, what's the wanted facing, so I can flip that facing and put you at a little nice spot. Now we'll get some nice compile errors. So we say climb, what's it called? Params. Semsu asks if it's easier to split animation into two sub-animations. The turnaround and the climb. Then play them in succession. Yeah, that's sort of what I'm doing, maybe. Because if you look here, it's first as the start where it's turning around to grab the rope, and then it climbs down, and that's just a lerp that goes downwards from start to end, and it's moving the arms. And when it's done with this one, then it says go into the climb end, where it just does the turnaround. So I'm just gonna pass on some extra info to down here so it can do a little fancy thing there. So what I was thinking was here is like these guys. Actually, this one is not interesting. Player start should not be in there. Doesn't matter. This is just these guys I wanted to pass on. Like that, right? Then I go here and I flip these again. Right, then we go up here. Now we say params.wanted facing. Params.point start, params.wanted facing. And then the thing here is, if you look at this now, start and end here, you don't need those. You just need the params. Maybe you need this, but that's just see here, start you always the player. Okay. So here you just say params equals s.params. And then you can go in here, there's less custom state. So then start is something, start is s.params.point start minus s.params.wanted facing times 0.5, and then end is point end blah 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 start and end. Good. And then we say finally to the end state, we pass on the parameters again. And now, this should work like before again. Climb, 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 climb. Turns around. Good. However, and now we can climb up again. And you fall down like before. But now, I have, in the end here, I have all the params. So I can figure out some stuff. We just need one extra thing in the params. We need to be like point and you sort of need to know if at the top that you need to do a little special thing. At the top you essentially need to flip the face, the wanted facing. That's the wanted facing says that it should look this way. That's why you can do like this and it turns around and then climbs. Actually, maybe I can just do an end offset thingy here. Yeah, this is gonna work. And then I can go here and be like, the start of the lerp here is this one. And then the end of it is that one plus s.params dot end offset. And then you just lerp that. And then everything will be fine. We just need to set that one because we're climbing up on this one. Yeah, on the turnaround there will be no. Yeah, exactly. That one will not. That one will just climb over. I think. Yeah, I'm gonna remove the yaw there. It's sort of in the direction of you wanted facing. Let's just put that right now. So that's sort of a vector that goes in this direction. So you need to sort of climb over the top. But you're completely correct, Semzu. That I can't. This turns half a lap around. Okay, I can hack something in here for now, but let's just do some. Why hack something and we can just do like this? Skip and turn. Bool. Skip and turn. True. Oops. Still need that time. This is remap takes the when you start the state plus 1 second it remaps to 0. Well, because this might not be starting at 0 state start. It might be a time. Okay, climb down. Good. Then we climb up again, see what happens. Offset is probably going to be wrong now. Ah, it worked. It's just a bad offset. And then it should probably do like a funny whoop with the hands. Amazing. Let's do it again. So you want a perfect smooth transition without snapping, of course. But that's polish. Now it's always with game mechanics, you can just put it in. If it works, it works. But it's always fun to polish these things too, so we can... Yeah, you just need some tweaking, and I don't like that, like when you press this, that the arms snap. I don't like snapping in video games at all. I don't think anything should ever snap, almost. I think everything should just smoothly go from one state to the other. But that's just... that's fixable. I mean, currently... can take the wanted facing times. It needs to go a bit higher. Needs to go a bit. Wait. A good way to do it anyways, but I can probably multiply it by 2 or something. Although that's just gonna make me... yeah, that's not so good. I can tweak it more, but that's good. I mean, one interesting thing already is that while I can climb down, like while I can jump down to here, I could never get up from here without the reason I turn the camera so much, because I like the arms doing this. I could never climb up from here, but now I can do that. Aren't you happy to see me? Talking to the animals. Right, so now if I... if I can disable these again. Eventually you have like a little mesh that has a sort of, yeah, it's some kind of hooky thing here maybe. I don't know. And yeah, I would like to, at this point, that the arms do a little push up, like somehow from the ground, but wait a minute. Was it the shadow snapping, or was the squirrel snap? Where are you gone? Where did you go? It's very interesting. Why does it... the moment I move, it pops back. That's weird. something weird with this because I do some kind of weird billboard thing, but I can look at that later. Oh well, I'm quite happy with that. Some kind of... It's super strange. The moment I grab this, the squirrel disappears. I saw it pop out of existence. So if I stand here and I take... Look now, it just pop. I think... it's nothing to do with this. Rectangle. Wow. It's probably me messing up some OpenGL state somewhere. Sadness. Anyways, I'm quite happy with that for today's little stream. Yeah. Thank you all for watching. If you're interested in the code for this, then it's available to Patreon, so pay the mid-tier Patreon price thingy. And if you want to support me, you like any of my videos or live streams or anything, then you can become a Patreon. There's links to all that in the description. And it makes me very happy. Anyways, I don't think there's anything else to say other than have a nice day and happy programming. Bye bye.